Hello there, YouTube family. Life's a Game, back again with Incursions with the same build I was using from the last video, the Ouroboros, Stinger Hive, and the Striker Drone. So we're going back into it right now, but this time we're going to be doing Incursions. I hope you guys are all doing well. Glad that you clicked on the video. Thank you for that, and I hope you do find it very much enjoyable, as I will give my, once again, critique on my style of play. So I hope you guys enjoy this. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We're pushing up on Incursions. This first room right here, you want to make sure the team is all on the same page and that they know exactly what they're doing. As you've seen right there, the other guy just jumped down. He already got the shield. I'm dealing with the enemies here via the Stinger Hive, and I have my Ouroboros here, the legendary Ouroboros, the gun of the hour, what everybody's trying to get. This was a fun run. I enjoyed this run. Once again, even during Incursions, well, Incursions is more or less, I was going to say patience distance like Legendary, but there really is no patience and distance in Incursions. It's kind of like a hectic run, so heavy DPS is really a very good thing if you have that within this specific mission. But yeah, you just want to keep yourself leveled more or less. In this one, it's more raid based. So what that means is you want to just make sure that the team knows the mechanics. At the very least, they know exactly what each room entails before you start the mission. That's just one of the key things, agents. Usually, I do say I jump in here with randoms, but it is knowledgeable randoms that do have an idea of how to do it. And although they might have an idea how to do it, that doesn't always necessarily mean they just they can do it flawlessly or just know how to do it all the way. There's still like a level of setting yourself up. There's still a level of structure and everything that you must do. So them knowing a big key thing to winning this is if you're definitely running with a random group, that team knowing what to do and knowing the mechanics to start off is a huge plus to start off. Just knowing that, not knocking any players that happen to not know it. It's just always good to ask up front so that if anybody needs help, you can tell them straight up what has to be done and how to do it. And depending on how well they've seen it, whether they did a video, whether they've seen a video of it on YouTube or any type of platform, Twitch or whatnot, TikTok, whatever it might be, whether they've seen it or not, just how well they can implement it, and that'll be seen when you run with them and you see like how well they can do it. So it's always good with them knowing, just knowing the mechanics. That's a huge first process. Like just by doing that, that's 50% of the battle completed. Another 50% is just execution. Which with the right team and right mechanics, with the right team, right mechanics and know-how, like you'll get that down. Like that won't be a problem. But if you don't know the mechanics, that's a huge issue. That's what causes about, I'd say, 90% of the wipes in this mission is just not knowing the mechanics at all. Like majority of every team member not knowing the mechanics fully. So that's just a food for thought for the Incursion, of course. So we're now here in the second room. I'm right there initiating the going ahead right there initiating the wheel turn of the pipe, the valve. So this part you have to defend the tanker, and DPS does come heavy in there. I'm using the Stinger Hive. It looks really good because like from where I'm putting it right there, any enemies that come, it just deals with them. This was actually a very fun mission. I enjoyed this one because like the Stinger Hive just makes things a lot more fun, guys. I highly implore you guys to use the Stinger Hive whenever you can. This is only a level 4 tier Stinger Hive, by the way. And my bad on that. I think in my last video I said that this was a build with a 6 tier Stinger Hive. This is not even a 6 tier one, the one you're seeing here. As everything you'll see it display and do, it's a 4 tier one. So that just shows you, it just gives you an idea of how strong this skill is and what it can do. Obviously I sacrificed a little bit of that for gunpowder, obviously using the Ouroboros, but you know, it's a lethal, deadly build. This with the Striker drone, it's a very lethal build, as you guys saw on my last legendary capital building mission. As I did say, I would have an Incursion mission going, so here we go. Here's this one. And it was fun. I usually have the left side, left flank up there, but somebody said they wanted to take that, and I was like, okay, you can go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and get down low. Just a perfect build for down low too, honestly. It gets the radius I have, a 5% radius. It's maxed out. I got a rare like drop on it. You know, like it's always good putting those rare drops on. It just goes well. And considering my other build that I did legendary for directed Manning Zoo in, like the shield that I have, it has like a 8% like mod skill like increases. I think it's to the duration or something like that. It's always good when you can have those max rolled like 8% or like those yellow number like percentage like points of extra whatever it might be, like It's crazy. It's always good to get those, but the only way to get a lot of those roles mostly is in legendary missions and legendary content. So I just kind of have a lot of those over time, and I think like I didn't even realize I had them. So it just helps with the missions. Like it helps being able to complete the elite stuff. But yeah, like I said, this Ouroboros build is really good. And what I usually find funny enough is that the game is usually pleased whenever I use the Ouroboros in this legendary, not legendary, an incursion mission, because like usually every time I use it, an Ouroboros will drop like at some point for some reason when I'm using it. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and go through this. And we're gonna see what happens. But yeah, it's fun. It's always fun. That's just one of the things I noticed. I'm not saying to do that. I'm not to do it. I'm not saying to do it or not to, but I'm saying like usually I notice that when I have it equipped, it usually does tend to happen at times. I did have one drop at Wright, the second boss Wright, and I know that happens. That happened to me twice, and I know it's very rare because it's a 1% drop. But I think both times, if I'm not mistaken, it happened when I had the Ouroboros equipped. But I know for a fact it was when I did have it equipped once. I'm not sure if the second time accounts to that, but I could always go back in my videos respectively and look at that. But it's just food for thought. One thing I do remember is, yeah, when I have the Ouroboros equipped, it's funny. So I guess the mission just loves high bursts of DPS. So if you have a gun that can give high burst DPS, I think it'll just reward you with the gun. It's my honest feel. And so right here, the striker drones come out. You want to make sure you deal with these quick because the enemy will come back. If you do not deal with those fast enough, the enemy will come back. You see, I just dropped my hive there, and it just deals with the flame guy like quick. It just deals with them very fast. The Ouroboros is strong. I have my striker drone that's able to take the enemy out quick, and it's level 4. Skill tier is level 4, so it's steady. It's decent. It's just a strong build overall. Strong DPS. Slash skill build. This is what I mean though, because there'll be some players sometimes that'll look at builds like this and think that they're not that strong, and I'm like, dude, you have no absolute like no clue of how like well this build can be done. I just always usually will tell them just to go look at my channel, but a lot of times these days I don't get that these days a lot now, because I think with a lot of the different YouTubers that are respectively going on there with different builds, they're giving people a lot of variety ideas that they didn't get from before. And I'll touch on that's another thing I'll touch on with Incursions. When Incursions released, it kind of upped the amp of like Division 2. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that. A lot of you elite agents out there know that. Like ever since it was released, I'm pretty sure you thought you had your build made, and then like it like smacked you in the face. Like when it came, it was like, man, I need more DPS. I need a build that can do more. And I think Incursions led to more versatile builds being created in Division 2. And I feel that that's what's so unique about this game. Like people thought that it was the end all be all, but then when this was released, they realized there was so much other builds to be made, so much other things that you still didn't realize you could implement that could help you. So it's such a great thing. Like I know when this mission first released, it was tough for me. Like I wasn't just beating it straight up. It took me about like a good 3 weeks to like a month to get my first win like on this mission. I wasn't running it daily, but from the times I did have to run it when it did release, it took me some time to do it. But my first Ouroboros I ever got was back in November 2023. It released in October, so that was roughly about like a month into release. So that was very early. But it's just that tenacity, that drive just to win it. But it did produce me to have to actually, it did present me, my bad. It did present me with a way in which I had to increase my builds. Like I was using this one skill build and it didn't really have much DPS, and I was beating a lot of content with it, and it forced me to make not just that build, it led to a variety of builds that I've made since that content. If you were to check my videos out, you just see how my builds changed drastically since Incursion released. So it's something good. I think the devs really hit the nail on the head here, and it would just be great to see additional content like this that tests the community, that allows them to go like deeper into like their builds, deeper into their knowledge, and really think, do they have it down? How else would this be? Design a boss where, I don't know, maybe like Pulse is mostly involved with it, where you can't just use skills like builds to get through with it. And at the same time, maybe when you're fighting it, like you can't just use DPS, the boss will switch up. There's so many different things they can do, like with an Incursion too, like with different like types of things like that, new legendary missions. So I think them adding this mission in this game so late when everybody thought the game was dead and that there wasn't much left like with it. Personally, I always see a lot of promise with Division 2, but back then when this released, a lot of people thought it was done from the days of like Iron Horse Raid and Dark Hours. But when this released, it was like a mini Dark Horse, Iron Horse and Dark Hours Raid. Sorry, it was like a Dark Hours Iron Horse Raid when this released. Like it's crazy. It was like a mini one because like people it tested them again. Everything they thought they were just gonna blow through, they didn't just blow through. There was mechanics involved, so I think the Division 2 devs, they can do a lot with this, especially with the Star Wars Outlaws game finishing up and Avatar being done. I feel like they can definitely focus a lot more back on Division, and I feel like that's gonna showcase like a lot more. And I'll touch on that like again with the whole idea of the enemies getting smarter as you progress. That would just be something great. But back to the video here, right in this room right here, you want to make sure, obviously, like I said before, everybody knows the mechanics. Obviously, if you don't have mic or whatnot or whatever's going on, if you're not like really speaking during the match, you can kind of shoot at the area as you're seeing me do there. That will kind of get the player's attention to know that that's the area you want them to go in. And then you can kind of, kind of light up right if you get him in the right area. He comes at you like that. What I usually do is I'll just dodge him within this room. I'll keep him around my team. A lot of some players will run away from him. It's kind of funny how he's standing there when I put my hive down. Like he kind of doesn't want to run into it. Like he knows it's there. That's just a funny thing, and that's only in the tier 4 hive. Keep that in mind. Stinger hive, by the way. So it's always great. Like I mean, and I think the best thing about the Stinger hive is the range I get on it. But yeah, it's very interesting. Like I was saying like earlier though. Like just knowing like the area and like what to do and like kind of shooting the area to give like insight to your team that they're there and everybody being on the same page. And another thing about that is just ensuring that you guys hit all of the ads before working your way into the boss, because usually when you work your way into the boss too quickly like that, what happens is that the ads are still there and they're attacking you while you're trying to fight the boss, and that's no easy feat. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and get him right here. I see that they're kind of busy. If you kind of time that right, you can kind of do it yourself, as you saw me do just there. You can kind of get him and you can start DPSing him again. I put the Stinger hive down, it gets him, he throws a nade. You see how he's kind of going around? Okay, so now he's going into it. The hive is just so amazing. It's so great in what it does, and it's in the damage and just how it makes the enemies so uncomfortable. It doesn't matter what level they are at, legendary, whatever it is. It clears them out, it gets them uncomfortable, and that's exactly what you want with your team whenever you're doing any tough elite level content. You want the enemy to feel as much uncomfortable as possible, and when that happens, they're on their toes, they're going backward. You guys have the upper hand on them, and things just work, things mesh, as you'll see here. But yeah, you want to kind of keep, and if Wright's following you, try and always stay out of your enemies, not your enemies, but your teammates' way. Like, try and do your best to go around them. I mean, I know I didn't do a definite job totally of what you're seeing here, but try like and just stay like out of like your teammates' way. For the most part, I try my best to do that, because like when you run past your teammates and Wright's there and they don't know, it'll hit them and it'll mess things up, get flame on them. You want to just make sure that that you're kind of like away from him. But when Wright does come after you, as I was touching on earlier, like when you turn the pipes on and he starts coming after you, I kind of try and stay in the room here and just dodge him so that everybody can shoot him, because a lot of the teammates sometimes, like at times, some random agents will run out and they'll run out into the open room, and you can't even get like a clean DPS shot, or not everybody can hit him all at once like what's supposed to happen, so you don't deal him nearly as much DPS as you should have. So you always want to keep Wright close to the team when you hurt him after the shower, but far away from the team when he's not hurt. Just little key tips. Like I'm sure like a lot of like you guys probably know these things already, but there are some agents that might not know it yet quite exactly, or might not be privy exactly to it yet. So just knowing this, it always helps. Any little bit always helps. So that's what I'm here for. Okay, they have him there. We get this. We get the ball. Okay, so he's coming after me now. He's about to come. I'm waiting for him to come, I'm going to go ahead and put that Stinger hive down. There you go. Put it down. And that's just a ton of DPS coming out right there, just through all that. It is phases now, because I believe the devs, if I'm not mistaken, did make it so that you had to go through a certain number of phases before you beat Wright. Because I believe some people, when this released, or like a few weeks after release, they were like one-shotting him or like two-shotting him or something like that. They were getting a lot of damage and the devs didn't want that or something like that. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I just say if you have a strong enough build to do that, then I'd say that people should be able to do that. It's kind of like First Descendant. There's a lot of like tough bosses in First Descendant, respectively. But like, for instance, like say if you have the build and like the damage and the weapons, the correct endgame weapons to solo like that boss, even solo or like just one shot them, you can do that. Like it's possible on that. They don't take away from it. It's just you doing your homework. So I think the division should just keep that up. If people can do that, don't like take that away. I know some of the guns have been overpowered due to like the lack of content that we've been waiting on in the years it's been out. I can understand that, but there's ways they can do that. If the guns are overpowered, just buff the enemies, I guess, in that sense, and just make it so that people have to work that much harder to make a build that can actually one or two shot something. So yeah, basically, but for the most part, I like the Incursion. I love the Incursion. I think the devs did a genius, like, nice job with this. I think it got a lot of players off guard. They thought they could come in here with a lot straight DPS builds or just a straight full skill build and do it. Neither of those work. You got to have a mixture of DPS and skill. You can do it with all DPS for sure. It's more tailored towards that. But if you do have skill or anything else or defense, you have to have a mixture of DPS in it. Even if you have DPS, you have to have a healer sometimes at times, because at the end it can get hectic. So they kind of just, the devs forced people to have to actually mix it up with this one. So that's something I actually did enjoy about this, the Incursions actually. But this is another one of my Incursions runs. I believe this is my 11th Incursion helping video for people. I believe 11th, 12th or something. I could be way off. I don't know, but I know it's been a bit of time since I've been there, done one of these. Like since I've maybe like a few months, maybe, or like a weeks. I don't know. Maybe a few weeks since I've done an actual Incursion. But I did promise you guys in the last video, respectively, with the Legendary Capital, that I would do an Incursion video with the same Ouroboros, Stinger Hive, and Drone Assault build. Striker drone build. So like I said, it's a great build, as you guys are seeing. I'm just giving you guys ideas to be like, hey, if you want to incorporate a build like this with 6 skill tiers, go ahead. And I'm totally not sure how well these builds work in PvP. You guys a lot of people keep asking me about, I want to see you PvP. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, the PvP culture is really, it's tough though. I mean, a lot of people can say it's toxic heavy, but it's there. But it's like, it's something I'm thinking of, but I'll look into it a little bit. But right now, my main thing is PvE and just helping players. I think the Division shines the absolute most and best when it's in PvE as opposed to PvP. Nothing of taking away from PvP. I think PvP has a huge fan base in this game. There's a lot of hardcore PvP players. They don't really play PvE. All they do is play PvP, but they love the game. They know the mechanics. They know the builds. So it's always good. I feel like there's an avenue for both. So it's always good. I'll look into that some. But like I said, I've been in there here and there, but it's not my main cup of tea. But who knows? You guys demand that a lot. I might make some builds for that and show you guys some action, some high flying dominant action in there too. If that's what you're looking for. But we're gonna just be looking at it here. So we got past the Wright room. Going back, just to reiterate again, it's kind of like with Wright. You want to just make sure everybody knows the mechanics. You kill all the ads before that, and you'll be good. Okay, so the Lovebirds here in this one, we're all keeping back here. They kind of asked. I'm not sure if you saw the comments earlier, but they all asked if we should stay in the tent or go up front. I usually always opt to stay in the tent during the Lovebirds fight. And the reason for that is because it definitely makes you avoid a lot of the sniper drones, or not sniper drones, sniper turrets. Like the sniper turrets are very bad and hit very hard, can one shot a lot of times. So it's better to stay in the tent where you can get cover and you can fight. And if you have good enough DPS, you know the mechanics well enough, it's one of the best and most lethal, easiest spots to do this mission in. It's so easy in a sense. It's like if people would have known this from the get-go when this release, people would have beat this a lot earlier. But people didn't have this, obviously that's the whole thing about it. People didn't have this knowledge at the time of release. But now knowing it, it's a lot better. Like when you have the DPS, you can just kind of kick back. You got to still watch, don't get me wrong. You got to still watch for sniper turrets, as you'll see in different other things and different other enemies. They're trying to take you out of your groove when you're trying to attack the bosses, the main bosses. So you want to just keep with it. You want to keep with it, keep steady. Keep watch. Don't fall into a gun sleeping haze, because DPSing these guys, sometimes people fall asleep. They're just looking at them. They're not looking at the enemy around them, and they get picked off by something that they most likely shouldn't be picked off by. So we're just gonna watch. Also, right there, as you're seeing me dodge the bombs. You want to be paying attention to the bombs. It's tough sometimes because sometimes they do a wide radius range where it's like, man, really? You couldn't get out of it. The game it gets you right here. You see how close it is. I just about made it out of that. But I mean, it can happen sometimes, but for the most part, you just look at the ground, you'll be able to get out the majority of the things you see. You'll get hit, obviously, as you saw me there. It'll happen sometimes, and then it'll come again. As long as you're quick on your fingers, you're just quick on the draw, you'll be fine here, and that's one thing. And I think a lot of agents struggle with that in this Lovebirds mission, is being able to DPS them and watch the floor at the same time. But unfortunately, it's just something that you have to be able to do in this mission, and you have to multitask. That's what happens with a lot of key hard missions and a lot of looter shooter titles. You have to multitask. First Descendant also shows that too. It's a funny part. I like the Division 2 a lot more than the First Descendant, don't get it twisted, but the First Descendant does implement a lot of Division 2 mechanics within it, and I think that's why I excel at that game like a lot, in a sense. Like, it's just because of that fact. It was funny because I said I was ranked 10 and I was already at the Molten Fortress boss, which is the second to last boss, and I'm already at, which makes me now be at Gluttony, which is the final boss. So it's like, and I haven't even really done my research mostly on that game. It's just off of my raw talent and just knowing how to move, how to upgrade weapons, and just what you might need depending on how you fight. So it's just like, I think it trailers in. It trailers into like other missions. That's why I say all the time, I give you guys these pointers, because the pointers I'm giving you in this game can trail to other games, to other looter shooters too. Believe me. A lot of the points I'm giving you here about patient distance, other things, you do them in other looter shooters, you'll see success at times too. You'll see success at times as well. So it's like, I think like the Division, it's just such a unique game that it's like, if things can work in this, I notice. I play other like titles, and I notice that things work in this, they work in other games. They'll work well, like in other, especially third person wise, they'll work like really well. So it's always a great thing. But right here, you want to like, we finished off the other boss. I believe that was Martinez. We finished her off, and then like with Johnson, it's just a lot of the turrets. So if your team is fairly good with the DPS, you guys are good here. Once you get to this part, you kind of want to just get Johnson. And let me touch on this. Johnson's one of the most runaway, scaredy cat bosses in this entire game that I've seen, because it's like he runs all the time. Like, and you gotta find him, as you're gonna see here. It's like he'll run off, and you gotta find him. And it's like the drones will still be coming in, the enemies will still be attacking. It's an annoying little thing the Division has sometimes. Some of the bosses, like, they kind of just run from you, and it's like, I don't know, they're just stalling time, I don't know, just letting you have to use ammo. It's a good thing. Fortunately, we have an ammo box next to us, but if we did not, yeah, people weren't out of ammo, because he kind of runs away, and then the enemies kind of, I believe, they keep spawning as long as he's there. But it's like, as long as you keep your composure, as you're seeing here, we're just keeping inside. Nobody's getting hectic. Nobody's getting ahead of themselves. They're not going outside the tent. I'm kind of going a little there on the edge, but you know, just comes with experience, a lot of that stuff. But for the most part, I'm not running out. It's funny there. I'm saying the boss runs a lot. I was trying to kind of let my team know about that, just not to get, you know, impatient with it and try and chase him. Just let him, you know, run. He's gonna eventually make his way back down, come back. And yeah, these drones, you want to handle them. Do not, if you are at this boss like this and you do end up killing Martinez first, just make sure you focus on the drones. Realistically, I'd kind of like, for any like new agents doing this, I kind of more or less lean in the area of killing Johnson first, because you wouldn't have to deal with these drones. Because it's kind of looking a little more easier than it is here, because if you do not have the DPS, these drones that Johnson sends off, you're literally toasted. Like, if you don't have a DPS, like they'll melt you fast, on top of the enemies coming, on top of everything else that's happening, and then the sniper turrets, you'll wipe. Like, if you don't have the right DPS amount, like builds, like using, like, you see these turrets right here, we're making it look easy because the team they have decent DPS, but when you don't, it can get hectic rather quickly. So it's good to make sure you have DPS. And as long as you have strong DPS, you can kill any one of them before. It's just a lot easier if you kill Johnson first, but Johnson runs a lot. So Martinez is usually, when I play, is always usually the one that dies first. We usually get hurt pretty fast. Johnson's usually running, and then he'll return back. But yeah, just this fight, you want us to remain patient in this fight. I remember the original method where they were saying that you run all the way up close in the front, and that's kind of like one of like the first ways I was beating this. But it's cool because, like I said, as I said before, the Incursion forced the community to have to kind of like, you know, look at their builds and look at how their strategy and how they play the game in order to win. And I think the devs, they haven't lost that. They've been getting like a lot of flack, I know, and I understand that. I want new content as well, but I think like when they do come out with stuff and something is released like this, it's to our liking. So I think that as long as we have that, yeah, that punch was for running. But yeah, as long as they have that, the content, the new content coming will be great. I feel like as long as like the devs, they have the time to do that, and not twiddle their thumbs, actually work on the project. It'll be great.
Great work, agents. You've secured the site. We're clear for the medical team to land, recover any survivors, and bring them back to Haven.
Okay, so Incursion is completed. You guys saw it there. That was a good run. Like I said, this build is really, really good with the Ouroboros. It's always good to run through this. Remember, guys, check out my membership. If you're interested in doing these runs with me, check my membership out. To run Legendary and Incursion, you can go ahead and look over there. It's $10 a month to play with me for 30 minutes each week. $25 a month to do 2 Legendaries or 2 Incursions twice a month. So either a Legendary and an Incursion, or 2 Legendaries or 2 Incursions, whichever you guys want. Considering what these booster sites sell the prices for, $300, $400, $500, that's nothing. I'm definitely helping people out. I hope you can utilize that. Okay, so we opened the chest right now. As you're seeing there, it's 2 reds, and usually every time you see 2 reds, ding, 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 Legendary Ouroboros. Usually whenever you see 2 exotics, you most likely got it. That's my 4th or 5th Ouroboros, I believe, from the Incursions. So that was a great run. And as I said before, as I was touching on before, for whatever reason, the game in this Incursion awards me every time I use an Ouroboros. I don't know why. It'll give me another one. But when I don't use it, there's been one time I use it, it didn't. But for the most part, when I use it, I notice that I get another one. And I think like whenever you use like a high level DPS like burst like build, I think like it just tends to want to give you it. I don't know. It was a great run, guys. Thank you. Another Ouroboros. There you go. So I guess we tried it out, and I guess it worked. Use Ouroboros. If you have an Ouroboros, you want another one, just use it during the Incursion. If you don't have one, use like a high DPS type build. But thank you guys for all of the support and everything that you're doing, helping me out, watching these videos. I hope I'm helping you guys out. Of course, you're helping me out, making me critique myself and be able to see what I can do better. But I hope everything's going well for you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed the Incursion run. See, I just asked him there if he had Ouroboros, and he left. I was gonna give him this one. Trin Dynasty. I was gonna give you this Ouroboros. I don't know if you end up watching this video. I was gonna drop this one for you, but you kind of just left. So it is what it is. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one though. That's how you beat Incursion. It's just you gotta just be a little patient. It's not the hardest mission, but it can't be hard. But this is Life's a Game. Thank you guys for watching. It was definitely fun. You guys have a great day, and I'm enjoying these commentaries. I'm gonna keep it coming. Thank you.